So hello everyone,
Hello.
welcome to the new day and new vlog. Today we have with us Muntasir, and we thought that today we'll discuss about requirement engineering. You must have seen that we are discussing some of the subjects or trying to discuss the subjects that we took in our first semester, and in this order, now the next exam that we gave was of requirement engineering, which was after SRES, which we discussed yesterday. You must have seen that. And let's start with the subject overview of requirement engineering.
So requirement engineering, it is taken by Professor Jörg Dörr.
Yeah.
It's a 4 credit subject.
Yeah.
And it's, I would say, there are a lot of theories,
Hmm.
mostly theoretical, but there are some things to understand as well.
Hmm.
Similar to product line engineering, after every 2 class there is supposed to be exercise,
Hmm.
but this is or is ordered a little bit different way. Usually, even though the program starts at October or November 1st, the exercises doesn't happen till maybe mid of December.
Yeah.
But to attend the exercises, you have to register yourself
Correct.
online.
Correct.
The exercises and lecture class attendance is not mandatory for giving the exam.
Yeah.
But if you want to attend the exercises, you have to register it before time in
Yeah.
Volat.
Yeah. And there are specific deadlines. Some of you have been registered in the exercises sessions. And the thing is, I think the things that are discussed, the concepts, suppose that particular template or a particular model which is there in the exercises, its theory might come in the exam, or there might be questions where you have to write the requirements or define the requirements. So if we talk, I think, about the subject, then during our time the classes were online because we used to attend in Zoom.
I think it was a hybrid, online and offline. You can
Yeah,
attend online,
yeah.
you can attend offline.
Yeah.
But I would not say hope for that, because mostly now classes are
Yeah.
being held offline.
Yeah.
But Yogdor is a good teacher. He maybe asks for people's vote.
Yeah.
And if a lot of people applies that, okay, want to do online classes as
Yeah.
well, he may agree. But usually now classes are mostly offline.
Yeah, and now I'm remembering as well that yes, in the initial classes we went there offline, and then when we thought that during when exam were near,
We are
then
doing online classes
then
as
we
well.
did online classes. So we had the option of attending both. Like
Right.
we got the Zoom link as well
I
as
think that is
the
the
offline
best
classes.
option. That you can, if you feel like it, you attend the offline class. If you
Hmm.
don't feel like it, you can attend online class.
Yeah,
So that's a good point. And whatever theories is being taught in the lectures, usually after in the exercise,
yeah,
it is like you are practically implying it, how it is being implemented, or
Yeah.
how it should be occur,
Yeah.
something like this.
yeah, yeah. And one of the things that I found interesting was that at least during our time, since we are discussing our experience, so suppose a topic is discussed in today's class. Now in the next lecture, in the starting 10 to 15 minutes, the professor used to revise the points from the previous class, and he used to ask the questions.
Ask the questions, anyone
Yeah.
can answer. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
Like when you, if you are attentive to class and you can answer the questions that is being asked from the next class,
Yeah.
you are good to go. You are like in a
Yeah.
good position, that you understand the subject, you understand the concept.
Yeah.
You are keeping your focus on the classes. Usually what happens is, sometimes for some people there are like 1.5 hour theory class, so
Hmm.
it may get boring, you may get lose your focus. But if you keep on point, if you take regular notes, then I think it will be better
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, and it's a good thing because before start of the next class you can revise as well. So that's one of the good points. Also, I think the theory, some of you who have suppose software engineering background, they might know this thing that SRS or the requirement engineering part is quite useful. Like I felt it's useful, and some of the concepts were dealt which were there in the practical applications as
Correct,
well.
correct.
So I think it's one of the good subjects that if you are taking software engineering as a major, then it's also one of the options that you might opt for because it's relevant in the application field as well. And rest, it's your choice. But I think this subject is well coordinated with the applications that we implement later on. Now talking about the exam time or exam
So
overview.
the exam overview, for what comes first is exam preparation.
Yeah.
For exam preparation, again, we downloaded the previous year exam questions and we solved them.
Yeah.
To be honest, I didn't attend exercise classes because I couldn't register on time. So I didn't solve any exercise classes, and while practicing, we didn't focus on exercises much. But we downloaded the previous year questions. We tried to find the answers of this question in the slides,
Yeah.
and tried to memorize the, as there are a lot of theories. Tried
Yeah.
to memorize them. There are some questions like light bulb on, off, or switch, some requirement engineering
Correct.
questions.
Correct.
We have to figure that out. We had some discussion, we had some confusion. We also mailed the professor and his assistants about our doubts. they replied us, they solved our questions. I think you had also had a discussion with the professor
yeah,
as well.
correct. So the
Before
thing
the
was,
exam.
the thing is telling. See, it's both kind of examples because
Yeah.
he didn't attend exercise sessions. I tried to attend the exercise sessions. Now, there are quite benefits as well because you get to practice writing the requirements, so you can clarify your concepts right during it when you attend the classes, like what are functional requirements, what are constraint requirements. So then, as he said, that you can practice previous year questions, you can see the exercise questions or the previous year questions which are there in the exam. Now, talking about the queries, I think this was one of the good points as well because before the exam, I think 1 or 2 weeks before, professor also said in the last lecture that if you have any queries, you can mail me. So I thought some random queries arised, and then I mailed him, and then he gave me the time slot, or he clarified it somehow. In the mail, he replied that you send me your queries and then you can take an appointment. So, and he gave me the appointment and he clarified the doubts, and I think which was a very good thing because
Good thing,
we thought that since it's 1 week before the exam and the sessions are now over, because requirement engineering exam was one of our last exams. So till that time the university doesn't operate in lecture, like for the lectures perspective. So we thought that will he reply or will he not, but he very well replied and solved our queries, and some of the questions which he indirectly told, because he has also a good point that first you do your research and then he can clarify the concept. It's not if you can directly just take the questions that gave me the answer for these questions. Then he said that at least you do your research and you do a healthy discussion. Means he will try to understand what kind of points you are understanding from this concept, and then he will clarify your doubts. So I think it's a good thing if one person do his work and then can ask the professor. And yes, he as I said, some of the questions which he clarified also, their references came in the exam, so it was quite beneficial as well from the exam perspective. Now, talking about the exam experience.
The exam experience, I think it is quite good.
Yeah.
From the previous year exam question, there are a lot of questions that was repeated. There are some new questions, but that were relevant.
Yeah.
So I think we answered all of the questions, and also in time. We finished our exam quite on time.
Yeah.
So if you manage your time, if you focus on it, if you have the theories quite well memorized, then I think you can answer all of the questions easily. The time are good enough.
Yeah.
And as I said, the questions are repeated, so do practice.
Yeah,
those.
and this is a good point because time is, I think, well managed in that exam. Like unlike QMQA, like we told during our time, the time was quite restricted in that time because we had to maybe do them in a very quick manner. But for requirement engineering, you can answer the theory questions, although for some of the questions you might have to make a flow chart or a diagram, but you might get enough time. This was our experience. And also regarding that on-off question, I think that is also one of the important questions because that question we also solved during the last time, and we tried to understand the
some
concept.
light on-off
Question.
There are even though you would not say we are fully confident about it, because there are many variations.
Yeah.
There are many concepts you have to clear. So it is better if you can while you are doing the classes, if you start solving it, that is good.
Yeah.
Then you can ask directly to the professor. They are very helpful, and if you are good enough, you can answer them.
Yeah, and I think that is also one of the important points to cover, because that question, like 1 or 2 questions were application based. Maybe you have to sort out the requirements, you have to number the requirements. So it depends on paper to paper, but I would say if you solve the previous year questions and you attend the exercises, you would be good enough to answer significant questions.
Correct.
At least in the exam, well within the time. And also you can clarify your doubts during the exercise sessions, maybe mail the professors or from the supervisors. So you always have this option to solve your doubts. Now, talking about our experience, so I think it was good enough.
I think it was good enough. I took if I would suggest if you're doing it in software engineering, your major is, then you should take this subject. It is irrelevant because not everyone becomes a developer, and also in the future you may become a requirement engineer. Even though you are only a developer, thinking like a requirement engineer is a crucial task for you.
Yeah.
So I think we get to know many important concepts, many I would say the concepts that are not quite familiar to us, some new core topics.
Yeah.
So this is challenging but exciting.
Yeah, and I think it's a good combo as well if you're taking software engineering as a major. If you're taking it as a minor, then any of the subjects you can pick, which we discussed, or some other subjects as well. But I think if you take QMQA, if you take requirement engineering or product line engineering, they're application-based subjects as well. Now, one of the things circulate about requirement engineering is that it's quite thorough or theoretical subject. But I think that if you attend the lectures. So as we said that before going to the next lecture, your theory gets revised. So if you attend them well within the time, then I think it's manageable, because the same concept you can revise again and again, and also you can see these concepts on previous year questions as well as applying them in exercises. So I think it's manageable. You can go good with it, and rest, it depends on you how you manage the subject.
Correct.
And also I think during the exam as well, if someone has any doubt, then there were people to solve your doubts. And also talking about the marks, so I think marks you can refer from the previous year questions, and it depends on the number of questions, because sometimes it might happen for some of the subjects the number of total marks gets changed, because some subjects might have relative markings.
Correct.
So but if you see the previous year questions, the how to find the previous year questions, I'll put the video link in the description, as well as about the cheat sheet. Now cheat sheet is not allowed, because in cheat sheet you write theory.
Yeah, theories.
So,
And this subject cheat sheet is not allowed.
yeah.
So yeah.
So if you take the cheat sheet, then you have the theory in the cheat sheet. So that's a different thing. So cheat sheet is not allowed. You have to learn. But one of the points which I would say, or which you want to say, is that maybe the bullet points, or how to learn the theory, or
It depends actually person to person. For us, I think we listed out the questions, and then we read them. We didn't. There are in the slides, there are a lot of theoretical questions, so we only focused on the previous exam questions. At first we tried to memorize them, read twice or thrice, and then we wrote them like 2 or 3 times. We wrote every questions in the pad, in our notepad, and after some times we got it memorized. And
Yeah.
then also in the last day also, I think we asked each other questions like answer this question.
Yeah.
Verbally we practice that.
yeah.
So it depends on how you are memorizing, how you are practicing. But just like he said, there are a lot of theories, you have to memorize it.
Yeah.
I would not say there is other options. Like if only you are solving application based, you would not do good in these subjects. So do have to focus
On
the
theory. And suppose if you think that, see, the slides have theory and theory, then I would say it's a good point that you focus on previous year questions, as well as try to make bullet points, because when you have bullet points, or you have the heading correct, so some of the questions were like list this or explain this. Now if you mention, suppose there are 4 points and you mention their name, now there you can just write in your own words. This was also I think one of the important things, because professor also said this, that if you can explain what you meant, then you will get the marks. So sometimes it used to circulate that you have to write exact word by word. That can be true for definitions, suppose, which are IEEE based, where you have to write word by word, which
Correct.
was quoted by IEEE. But for other theory questions, if you have the correct heading and you are able to explain those headings in your own word, then I think you are good to go. So that's it for requirement engineering. Thank you, Muntasir, for sharing
Welcome.
your insights, and I hope you get some idea about this subject as well. And rest, like, comment, share, subscribe. It doesn't take much time. Bye bye. Ciao, ciao. Namaste.
Assalamu alaikum.
Chalo.